Hey everyone, I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So I was watching this video the other day where this guy listed out 30 ways to save money, and honestly, some of them were pretty solid, but some of them felt a little generic, like the kind of advice your grandpa gives you. That sounds good in theory, but you never actually do. So I thought, hey, let me take these 30 tips, run them through my own real life experience, and break down which ones actually work for a regular 27-year-old who's not a finance guru or a millionaire. I've been broke before, I've made dumb choices, and I've slowly figured out what actually moves the needle. So here's my honest take on all 30 tips, starting from the very first one. The first tip is the 24-hour rule, and honestly, this is one of those things I wish someone had smacked me in the face with when I was 20 years old. The idea is simple. Anytime you want to buy something over $100, you just wait 24 hours before pulling the trigger. I cannot tell you how many times I've saved myself from buying some stupid gadget or a pair of shoes I didn't need just by sleeping on it. There's something about that one night of sleep that completely changes your perspective. You wake up and suddenly that $150 thing you were so hyped about feels like a terrible idea. And the best part is it costs you nothing to wait. So I fully endorse this one. I use it all the time, and it saved me hundreds, maybe thousands over the years. Tip number 2 is planning every meal for the week. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard this, I thought it sounded like way too much work. I'm not some meal prep influencer with a perfectly organized fridge, but once I actually tried it, I realized how much money I was wasting just by being lazy. When you don't plan your meals, you end up at the grocery store 3 times a week, grabbing random stuff, and then you still order takeout because nothing sounds good. So I started just taking 20 minutes every Sunday to sketch out a rough plan for dinners and lunches. Nothing fancy, just a list. And my food spending dropped like crazy. I went from spending like $600 a month on food to maybe $350. That's huge. So yeah, this one works. Tip 3 is wear the same clothes every day. And I gotta say, this one hits close to home because if you've seen any of my videos, I basically do this already. Same black shirt, same black pants every single day. People think I am weird, but honestly, it saves so much money and mental energy. You don't need 50 different outfits. Most people don't even notice what you're re-wearing. Trust me, they too worried about their own stuff. So simplifying your wardrobe is a game changer. You spend less on clothes, you spend less time deciding what to wear, and you end up looking just fine. I've been doing this for years, and I am never going back. Tip 4 is about haircuts, and this one made me laugh because it's so true. I used to spend like $40 a month on haircuts, and when I actually did the math, I was spending almost $500 a year just on trimming my hair. Once the pandemic hit, I started cutting my own hair in the bathroom mirror, and honestly, it's not that hard. My haircut is simple, so I just buzz it myself in like 15 minutes. Sometimes I get a friend to help with the back, but it's basically free. Now, if you have a simple hairstyle there's no reason to be paying someone $40 every few weeks. Learn to do it yourself and you save a ton. Tip 5 is auto-withdrawing money into your investment accounts. This one is huge, and I cannot emphasize it enough. The easiest way to save money is to never see it in the first place. If you have money automatically moved from your checking account into a savings or investment account right when your paycheck hits, you literally cannot spend it. It's out of sight, out of mind. I use an app for this, and I have a small amount pulled every week. It adds up faster than you think. I know some people use things like Moomoo for investing, and you can set up automatic transfers there too. The point is, don't rely on willpower. Automate your savings and investments, and your future self will thank you. Tip 6 is about organic food and which ones are actually worth buying. Look, I care about my health, but I am also not trying to waste money. The rule I follow is simple. If the fruit or vegetable has a thick skin that you don't eat, like avocados, bananas, or coconuts, I just buy the regular non-organic version. But if I am eating the skin, like apples or berries, I spring for organic. There are actually charts online that break this down, and it saved me a decent amount at the grocery store. Not everything needs to be organic, and you can still eat healthy without going broke. Tip 7 is get a library card, and honestly, I've been saying this for years. Libraries are incredibly underrated. They have books, movies, audiobooks, study guides, and sometimes even electronics you can rent. My local library lets you borrow cameras and laptops, and it's all free. I know it sounds old school, but I've saved so much money just by borrowing books instead of buying them. If you haven't been to your library since you were a kid, go check it out. You might be surprised, tip 8 is no shopping when you're hungry. This one sounds like common sense, but I still break it sometimes. Every time I walk into a grocery store on an empty stomach, I end up buying a bunch of random junk I don't need, Hot Pockets, frozen pizza, snack cakes. It's a disaster. So now I make sure I eat something before I go shopping. Even a small snack helps, and my grocery bill is way lower because of it. Simple but effective. Tip 9 is about laundry detergent, and specifically getting the powdered version instead of the pods or liquid. This is one of those things I never thought about until someone pointed it out. But if you look at the cost per load, powdered detergent is almost always cheaper, and honestly, it cleans just as well. The pods are convenient, but you're repaying a premium for that convenience. Same goes for bar soap versus liquid soap. Bar soap is way cheaper and lasts longer. So I switched to powder detergent and bar soap, and I am saving maybe 50 to 100 bucks a year on stuff I was already buying. Not life-changing, but hey, money is money. Tip 10 is eat less meat. Now, before all the steak lovers come for me, hear me out. I'm not saying go full vegan. I am just saying meat is expensive. If you have steak every night, your food budget is going to be huge. I started doing a couple meatless meals per week, and my grocery bill dropped noticeably. Beans, lentils, tofu, all those are way cheaper and still filling. You don't have to give up meat completely, just cut back a little and your wallet will feel it. Tip 11 is cut down on subscriptions. Oh man, this one hits hard. I looked at my bank statements last year and realized I was paying for Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Apple Music, and a bunch of other stuff I barely used. It was like 80 bucks a month just disappearing. So I canceled everything except one or two that I actually use. Now I share accounts with family when I can. If you haven't T-checked your subscriptions in a while, do it right now. You're probably paying for stuff you forgot about. Tip 12 is change your own oil and fix your car yourself. I grew up learning how to work on cars, so this one is natural for me, but I know not everyone is comfortable with it. Still, even learning basic stuff like changing your oil or swapping a tire can save you a ton of money. Mechanics charge a lot for labor, and most of these tasks are easier than you think. There are YouTube videos for everything. I saved probably 200 bucks this year just by doing my own oil changes. Plus, it feels good to know your own vehicle. Tip 13 is cut your phone bill. I cannot believe how many people are paying 80 or 100 bucks a month for phone service. There are so many cheap options now. I have friends on Mint Mobile paying like 15 to 25 bucks a month for the same service. I switched to a budget carrier a couple years ago and my bill went from 85 to 35 a month. That $600 saved per year. Do not overpay for your phone plan. It's a waste of money. Tip 14 is stop spending money on sales. This one might ruffle some feathers, but hear me out. When you see a sale sign, it tricks your brain into thinking you re-saving money. But if you buy something you weren't planning to buy just because it's 30% off, you not saving money, you re-spending money you didn't need to spend. I used to fall for this all the time. Now I only buy things on sale if I was already going to buy them anyway. Simple rule, but it saved me a lot. Tip 15 is buy store brand instead of name brand. Most store brand products are made in the same factories as the name brand ones. You repaying extra for the label with cereal, pasta, canned goods. And most pantry staples, the store brand is just as good. I switched to generic for most things and my grocery bill dropped by about 20%. The only exceptions are Oreos and Pop-Tarts. Those you gotta get the real thing. Everything else generic is fine. Tip 16 is quit caffeine. Okay, I know this one is controversial. People love their coffee. But if you re-spending $5 a day at Starbucks, that's 150 bucks a month and over 1,800 a year, even if you make coffee at home, the beans and cream add up. I cut caffeine for a few months and not only did I save money, I also stopped having those midday crashes. If you on a tight budget, cutting caffeine can free up a surprising amount of cash. But hey, if you love your coffee, just make it at home. That's the compromise. Tip 17 is start a garden. My brother does this and he grows tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, and herbs. He spends maybe 30 bucks on seeds and soil and gets hundreds of dollars worth of produce. Plus it tastes better than store-bought stuff. I started small with just a few tomato plants in pots on my balcony and I was amazed at how much I got. If you have space even a little bit, try growing something. It's cheaper, healthier, and honestly kind of fun. Tip 18 is track your expenses and income. This is non-negotiable in my opinion. If you don't know where your money is going, you can control it. I use a simple spreadsheet. Every month I list my income and every single expense. It takes maybe 30 minutes, but it shows me exactly where I am overspending. When I first did this, I realized I was spending 200 bucks a month on fast food. I had no idea. Tracking changed everything for me. Use whatever app or tool works for you, but just do it. Tip 19 is about gym memberships. I love working out, but I hate wasting money. If you go to the gym every day, keep your membership. But if you're repaying 50 bucks a month and only going twice, you're repaying 25 bucks per workout. That's not worth it. I switched to bodyweight exercises at home and running outside, save 600 bucks a year. If you use the gym, great. If not, cancel it. Tip 20 is delete food delivery apps. This one is personal for me because I've been guilty of ordering Uber Eats way too many times. It is so convenient, but it is also insanely expensive. A $10 burger ends up being 25 bucks after delivery fees, service fees, tips, and taxes. Plus, the food is usually cold by the time it gets to you. I deleted all the apps from my phone and started cooking more. My wallet thanked me, and honestly, I eat better now too. Tip 21 is cut alcohol. I'm not saying quit drinking completely, but alcohol is expensive, especially if you go to bars. A few drinks out can easily cost 50 bucks. I rarely drink anymore, and when I do, I limit myself to one or two. If you like to go out with friends, try pre-gaming at home, or just drink soda water, your bank account will notice the difference. Tip 22 is ditch the dryer. Dryers use a ton of electricity. If you have a backyard or even a balcony, you can hang your clothes to dry. It takes a bit longer, but it's free and it's better for your clothes. Anyway, I hang dry most of my stuff now, and my electric bill dropped by about 20 bucks a month. Not huge, but it adds up over a year. Tip 23 is stop buying bottled water. This is one of the biggest scams in the world. Bottled water costs hundreds of times more than tap water, and it's terrible for the environment. I bought a good water filter for like 50 bucks a few years ago, and I haven't bought a bottle of water since. Well, maybe once or twice when I forgot my reusable bottle. But for the most part, I am done. If your tap water is safe, just drink it. If you re-worried, get a filter. It pays for itself in a few months. Tip 24 is shop at thrift stores. I find so much good stuff at thrift shops, clothes, books, kitchen stuff, all for a fraction of the price of new, and honestly, a lot of it is barely used. I got a nice jacket for 8 bucks last winter. You can. Beat that. Plus it's better for the planet. So before you buy something new, check your local thrift store first. Tip 25 is cut your financial advisor. Okay, I know this one is controversial too, but hear me out. A lot of financial advisors charge 1% of your portfolio every year just to manage your money. That might not sound like much, but over time, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And honestly, most of them just put your money in index funds, which you can do yourself. I manage my own investments now. I read a couple books, watched some videos, and figured it out. Unless you have a really complicated situation, you probably don't need a financial advisor. Tip 26 is borrow instead of buy. Before you buy something, ask yourself, can I borrow this from a friend or neighbor? Tools are a perfect example. I needed a pressure washer last summer, and instead of buying one for 200 bucks, I borrowed one from my neighbor. I bought him a 6-pack as a thank you, and that was it. Save 200 bucks. Most people are happy to lend stuff if you ask nicely, so borrow before you buy. Tip 27 is utilize retirement accounts. If your employer offers a 401k match, you should absolutely contribute enough to get that match. That's free money, and if you open a traditional IRA, you can lower your tax bill for the year. It's a win-win. You save for retirement, and you pay less in taxes. Today, I started doing this as soon as I could, and it made a big difference in my yearly tax situation. Tip 28 is learn to say no. This is probably the most important tip on the list. You don't have to say yes to everything. When friends invite you to an expensive dinner or a trip, you can afford just say no. It feels awkward at first, but it gets easier. I started saying no more often, and suddenly I had more money and more time for the things I actually cared about. Protect your finances by setting boundaries. Tip 29 is stop taking vitamins unless your doctor says you need them. I used to buy a multivitamin every month, and honestly, I have no idea if it did anything. Most studies show that if you eat a balanced diet, you don't need supplements. So I stopped buying them and saved maybe 200 bucks a year. Obviously, check with your doctor first, but for a lot of people, vitamins are just expensive and tip 30 is consider ditching your car. I know this is not realistic for everyone, but hear me out. The average American spends over $8,000 a year on their car, including payments, gas insurance, maintenance, and depreciation. That's huge. If you live in a walkable city or near public transit, getting rid of your car could save you thousands. I went car-free for a year when I lived in the city, and I saved so much money. I biked everywhere and used public transit. It was honestly liberating. If you can do it, try it. If you can at least think about downsizing to a cheaper car. So there you go. Those are my honest takes on all 30 tips. Some of them I swear by and still use every single day. Others I tried and they just weren't for me. But the point is, you don't have to do all of them. Pick 2 or 3 that actually make sense for your life and start there. Small changes add up over time. I am proof of that. I went from being broke and clueless to having savings and a plan. And if I can do it, you can do it too.